This is Tailgate Talk, presented by Tarpon Blue.
Let's take a ride. In this series, we're going to show you everything Texas and its surrounding southern states has to offer, right here from our very own tailgate.
We'll take you from life on the farm and the ranch to the big city lights. This is Tailgate Talk. Come along for the ride.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Tailgate Talks. I'm Quentin Hart, and I'm here today in Johnson City, Texas, with the fine folks from Farmhouse Vineyards and Winery from up in the high plains of Texas. I'd like to get these guys to introduce themselves to you and make them feel welcome.
Yes, I'm Nicholas Seaton.
I'm Kay Jane Seaton.
Hey, I'm Anthony Furgeson.
I'm Tracy Furgeson.
These guys are farmers up in the high plains, as we said, and they are part of a big family farm. And Nick, can you give us a little bit of background on your family and how this all came to be?
Yes, sir. So we're 8 generations of row crop farming, and we planted our first vineyards in 2010 and started making wine in 2015.
Awesome, thank you. So Anthony, what all crops and what do y'all do?
Well, as Nick said, we're multi-generation farmers. We're right smack in the middle of the high plains, so everything up there revolves around cotton, but the agriculture industry is changing and evolving, and everybody's looking for ways to become diversified. So for us, grapes and the wine really fits the bill there. It's a way for us to bring another stream of income to the farm and to help us utilize our most precious resource, which is water. But as far as the crops that we tend to, obviously grapes is the biggest thing we're doing. We grow cotton and peanuts, a lot of small grains for hay and forage. We do harvest a little bit of wheat, but most of that is for grazing and hay purposes. We do grow a lot of watermelons and pumpkins from time to time, black-eyed peas, a little bit of corn. But cotton, peanuts, and grapes are, pretty much for the most part, is really our mainstay.
That's cool. You guys are about as diversified as anybody I've run across, especially in the high plains, because, well, in the South high plains, we always had an old adage that cotton farmers plant cotton. And that's even in places where they planted wheat, they tore it out, put cotton back in behind it. So that's a really interesting how that all came about. And I know there's one thing you left out there. I know you guys are raising a lot of sheep now too, right?
Yes, we've diversified to death, we like to say. Don't you see how tired we are?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I understand.
In 2020, because there wasn't anything going on in 2020, the guys sat down and decided to reintroduce livestock to the farm. In the olden days, we like to say everybody followed. You had both. You farmed and you had livestock because everybody was sustainable is a buzzword, but everybody was self-sustainable. But now it kind of got away from that, and people are reintroducing. We do it for multiple reasons: crop cleanup. It deposits, as they say, things back into the soil, and so we rotate just like we do crop rotation. Now we do livestock rotation, and we also it's another revenue stream because we sell for meat, and they're a haired sheep, not a wool sheep. We don't shear, and so it's a fantastic thing. It's a breed that is a cross between a Dorset and a South African breed, and they can live on wind, water, and weeds, which is abundant where we're from in our environment.
Well, the wind and the weeds, I know. I don't know how abundant the water is up there.
Right, the Ogallala Aquifer. We pray for rain. Yeah.
I grew up in the Ogallala Aquifer, way north of there, but
Yes.
It's changed a lot over the last 40, 50 years.
Sure.
It's really
Well, and that's one of the main reasons we're looking for other things besides cotton is because we have to protect the water, our resource, and we need to utilize it. And so the livestock is a great fit for that. And as Katie Jane was saying, it's a good rotation for the farms. We like to grow the crop and sell the seed, and whatever's left, the sheep come behind and clean up, as if you will. And we run them in the vineyards, and we put them in every situation on a farm you could have. And so the Dorper's an extremely versatile breed. They can handle the heat, they can handle the cold, they can live on nothing sometimes. So they're quite impressive animal, and they've really brought a uniqueness to the farm and given us the ability to try other crops and to do other things, because we know that we're still going to have that ability to make every aspect of the farm work.
They also don't like clean water. If they have their choice between fresh, clean water that's just come out of a source or collected old, low-lying, shallow, dirty water, they will.
Muddy footprint.
Yeah, they will walk over and drink that, and so that's fascinating to me to watch.
That's interesting. It is. So, Anthony, you kind of told us the why and how you got into diversifying. How did y'all make the decision to go to grapes? I know there's a lot of vineyards planted up in the high plains now, and they've really exploded. What made you guys decide to take that next step and do that yourself?
The water is what forced us to go that direction. We're on the southern part of the Ogallala Aquifer, and so it's just like when 25 years ago you could farm 2 circles of row crops, and now that acreage is down to 2 circles is 240 acres. Now we're down to 60 acres worth of water per acre.
Wow.
And so we're just utilize, and the grapes, they do take water, but it's in a different time of the year, and also it's just you don't want to overwater those, right. And so we're being able to cut the water back, and but grapes is a lot of work.
I bet it is. It looks really intensive to me, and then the managing moving the sheep around and stuff. It looks like you guys have a lot of balls in there all the time with that.
Yeah, I like to think of it as the guy that's spinning the plates on a stick, and then somebody hands him another plate, a stick of plates to spin, and you're just constantly keeping those plates spinning. And it's definitely a balancing act. But we've got a wonderful team that
Yes.
that
It is
helps
not
us.
just us.
No, it's not us, and really we couldn't do it without the people around us. We have some of the the best team.
People.
Our employees are great. We're surrounded by so many mentors that came before us, and the resources we have are just, we could have all the way down from our banker to people that just support us every day. It's we're a product of our environment, and ultimately.
And I think that's something a lot of people don't understand about agriculture these days. And the people that are in it obviously do, but they don't understand the multifaceted piece of all the different things you do. Or they're all enterprises, and they're all a business, and they have to be treated just like any other business.
Yes, sir.
And that's it's hard for people to wrap their heads around that, I think. Okay, so that all came in. You moved towards grapes for the water. So how did grapes evolve to this? And I have an idea that I know the answer to that already. But
No.
Well,
Tracy, why don't you?
Let me say, I've got an easy answer. So after doing this for a while, growing grapes is the easy part, and making wine is the easy part. It's not that it's easy, but in the whole, the gamut of what is the wine industry, that relatively becomes easy. The hard part is convincing people that they need your product. And what it boils down to is just laying it all out there for them to see, and telling your story, and anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that the hard part is selling the product. So
Yeah, we have 2 tasting rooms, one in the High Plains where we live in Brownfield, and then this one here in Johnson City. and Katie Jane and I get to manage those, and all of our wonderful women and everyone that works for us. And we turned 2 houses into a tasting area, and it's just an extension of our homes. And we get to tell our story every day and tell our story about agriculture and how wine is farming. I mean, there's a family. There's many families behind that product. But why do they need your wine?
I'm pretty jaded. 2021 marked my 20th year in the wine business, and so I didn't want to be in the wine business. I eloped with a grape grower to get out of the wine business to be in the agriculture side, and so we made one wine because it's better. You can service your customer better when you go through the process of the end product. And then it went from making one wine to 3 to 9, and you do have to have an avenue to sell it. We joke that we bait the customer into the wine, into the tasting rooms with wine, and then, like Tracy said, they walk out, learning, oh gosh, this is the most heavily farmed product, and then the most heavily regulated product, right? It's alcohol, firearms, and tobacco. So people don't realize that wine is sold as this imagery, this luxury imagery, or this luxury end product with imagery of beautiful blondes sitting on a hillside consuming something all day long as the sun shines on their flawless skin, and it just couldn't be more opposite of that. And so that's the thing that we're like, no, you need to come in and you need to understand that this product cost so much money, so many times the hands that have touched it and gone across the field, and that farming in the high plains is not for the faint of heart. Like most regions, suffer from or battle 2 or 3 pressures, whether it's a pest pressure or a weather pressure. The high plains has all the pressures, all the plagues in the Bible come to us. Now, that's not a sob story. That just is talking about we have the best generational farmers in the world, hands down, because even though we have all of those pressures, we're still turning out premium fruit. I'll put my farmers up against anybody, anywhere in the world, anytime.
I would think so. That's people that don't understand the harsh reality of the high plains, and it is beautiful country, and it's very productive, but as Katie Jane said, it's not for the faint of heart. You gotta have a little grit to you to get to be a farmer up in that part of the world.
You just happen to be coming to us fresh off our pickup party weekend, right? So we had so many people in here yesterday, or this whole weekend. It's a small house, and we had people in here from Honduras, California. We had so many Californians in here this weekend. And, LA, we had celebrity chefs, Michelin star chefs, filmmakers. I mean, it was really kind of a global experience this weekend. And every single one, wow, I had kind of low expectations of what was going to happen and what I was going to taste, and we blew their minds. And that's all we've ever wanted.
That's cool, because when I first got back to Texas I was living in Colorado, and came from Washington State to Colorado. Yes. Got back to Texas finally, thank God.
Yes.
But when we first got here in 2010, the wine was not real good.
No, that's the way it is.
Within 3 or 4 years, it's just exploded, and it just keeps getting better and better. And I think you're seeing just that exact thing. Well, who would have thought Californians would have came to Texas to taste wine?
Yeah, and buy property and start making wine.
Exactly. That's happening a lot too.
I just, it started with Jesus, right? Like wine at a dinner party. And so when people are like, oh my gosh, this, when they have a bad attitude, I tasted wine and it's awful there, I'm never going back. Like, can we just ease up on the expectations?
Exactly.
Right? The act of this craft is quite old. And so give people just a bit of grace for their learning curve and their environment and the growing and the making of it. It's hard and it costs money,
and it takes a lot of years.
It takes a lot of years
to get to that product. To get to that product, and so if you stump your toe, you're years, before you get to circle back and reintroduce something new. So
well, and that's kind of interesting too, because it just to my way of thinking, one of the things that's going to draw a lot of the talent to the area is more grapes and more juice, high quality fruit.
Yes, sir.
Which you guys are on the forefront of that. And I know y'all, I'll let you guys answer that. Y'all sell a lot of fruit to a lot of the wineries down here.
We do. On average, we keep about 5% of what we grow for ourselves. We sell the other 95% to wineries all over the state. Something we're really proud of, and the wineries that we partner with, we feel like are some of the best in the state doing it, and we're really conscious of that. We want to make sure that the people that get the fruit are going to turn out, exceptional wines, or put at least the effort into their wine as we put into the grapes. We want that to match, and so it's cool. We've got some really awesome partners that, from the grapes to the wine, and ultimately that's, that teamwork is what's going to build this industry and propel us forward.
I'm sure that you guys add a lot to the winemaking just because of what you do as far as, hey, I know this works for this kind of grape or whatever, and I'm sure vice versa. The winemaking industry comes to you and says, hey, these grapes are really what we're looking for. I mean, that's a fair assessment?
You bet.
Texas is kind of unique from the standpoint of we can grow certain varietals that other areas cannot. Like I was talking to some folks that was from Wisconsin yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, we don't grow these kind of grapes in Wisconsin." Well, that's very evident. Totally different climates, but Texas can grow a lot of French varietals, can grow a lot of Italian varietals, and so it's nearly like in the industry in Texas is so young because you think, well, 1979 is or in the 70s is supposedly not supposed to be that long ago, but that's when the industry kind of started in Texas, and if you go back to the Bible and find they were making wine that far back, but what's nice about Texas is you can grow Sangiovese, you can grow Tempranillo, you can grow Petit Verdot, you can grow Counoise, you can grow Cinsault, and you don't hear about a lot of those grapes. You hear about Cab, Chardonnay, and California does those great. It's tough to grow Chardonnay in Texas. We can grow Cab in Texas, but we just can't compete with who's been doing it for years upon years.
Exactly.
We can compete, and I think we are competing, but it's not. But we can also show them what we can do with all these other varietals. It looks like a test plot in our area sometimes.
Well, you guys probably don't grow a lot of rice up there either, so I mean,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's kind of the
Exactly.
same analogy is
Right.
that you do what you can do and control what you control with that.
It's about market share. Like we have some cab, and it's fun to throw it in as a blend. Like I think that is what Texas should concentrate on. Single varietals are fun, but having a blend, because of our challenges and our weathers and whatnot, if we make really beautiful blends, then that that's what we can do consistently. Because the blend can change every year, right? But you can give it a fanciful name like cultivated, right? We have a wine called cultivated. And so, because we're farmers, and so we cultivate the earth, cultivate a life. So our customer base knows that wine, and they come in and they look forward to cultivated. Well, the blend can change every year, but they fall in love with the wine, and their loyalty is to the name of the wine. And now we're not stuck turning out a variety every year, right? And that for us has been working.
Cool. Well, one of the things I like about what y'all are doing, especially with this vertical integration with this, is you get to say, hey, my wine is worth this much money. That's about the only agricultural product you get to do that with. It's nice to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And it's fun to you may be wearing our cotton, but it's got to go to China, to be
Nick's been farming since he was 9, and like he'll tell you, no one's ever come up and said, hey, I just love my underwear. Thanks for this t-shirt.
Thank you for your
Right?
hard
He's
work.
wearing this t-shirt every day of his life, and no one's thanked him for it.
So, and it's cool to see your laborers or your work. It just
That's what's fun
to,
about
to the end.
having the
Yeah.
wine is we know what it was like when we planted that variety.
Yeah.
And then now to get to share it, in
Well,
a
that's
glass
awesome.
with you.
And I can tell you, I drive up and down here and frequent more than just this place occasionally. It's really cool to
We can
look
still
at
be
the.
friends.
Well, thank you. We look at the red wines, my wife and I do, and it's amazing how many of them say Farmhouse Vineyard on the back. That's where they're getting their grapes, and that's one thing I really think is cool about the Texas industry is they're starting to identify those.
The vineyard designation.
Yes, I like that a
It's
lot.
super important. Like that for me personally, and I think for all of us, like that's the goal, right? Is vineyard designation, because we don't put that in our contract that they have to do that. Like we're not going to ever be those people. They're doing that because it's a sense of pride, that the origin of the fruit.
I
That's
think they're getting good fruit, or they wouldn't put it on
exactly,
there either.
yeah.
So
And
that's,
we put that list, in the front room on a chalkboard. Here's who gets our fruit. Now it's starting to happen. It's popping up on people's labels that we didn't sell it to them. And so we're wondering how they've got it, and also reaching out. It's on my list today. I'm going to reach out to someone and say, excuse me, where did you get that farmhouse fruit? Because we didn't sell it to you. So yeah, I think that's a sign of great success,
it
actually.
is. That's what is it they say? Imitations of.
Yes, they
greatest
do
form
say
of
that.
flattery.
It doesn't
So-
always feel like that. Yes, they do say that. They do say that. So.
Okay, we've talked a lot about farming and vineyards. Is there anything else you guys want to mention here as far as this business and enterprise goes?
Come see us. Come see us. If you're watching this anywhere in the world on the internet, please come see us. We'd love to take you around the farm, pour you wine, give you a sheep, sell you a sheep. I don't know.
I can tell you too that these folks are the same people you see here every day. You see them. They're fine, upstanding people, and we really have gotten to know you.
You and Lori have been
We just really enjoyed that.
customers, like wine club members and customers.
Yeah, we were wine club
from
members
the
of the month.
start.
so-
Yes, you are. We're wine club members of the month. Yes, and Nick talks more in person than he does online or on video.
Yeah, we just want people to feel, when they walk in that door, we want people to be treated like we want to be treated.
Sometimes they'll spend the night if you let them hang around.
Yeah. That's right. If there's a tech basketball game playing,
Yeah, exactly. Well, so I think we can kind of wrap it up
Yeah.
here if you guys are good to go. And I'd like to thank you guys again for taking the time to do this. This is we've been working on this for quite a while, so
it's quite a while.
we're glad to get it done, and hopefully we can do it again one of these days.
Yes.
Come back when this place is like 7 times this large.
Oh no, we never want to be 7 times this large. We never want to be 7 times this large. I
But
think love and happiness comes from small houses.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and tune in next week for the next episode of Tailgate Talks.
They won't be as cool as we are.
Thanks for tuning in today, and thank you to our guests for sharing their story.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time on Tailgate Talk.